Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Pound and I'm here with the last video for Chapter 12 on universal gravitation. Our objectives for this video are to explain the significance of an inverse square law and to explain the connection between gravitation and the idea that the universe may stop expanding and begin to contract. So section 12.5 in your book is about gravity and distance, the inverse square law. The inverse square law is a physical quantity varies inversely as another quantity squared. This is what is going on with distance in our universal gravitation equation. So gravity follows the inverse square law. And we talked about that in detail. So basically we said as distance increases, the force will decrease by a square. And if distance decreases, it will increase squared. So it does the exact opposite, but it squares itself. So for instance, if the distance for gravity were to, say, triple, okay, it were to triple, that means the force decreases by a factor of 9, okay? If the distance were to be cut by a third, that would mean, if we square the 3, that the force would increase by a factor of 9, okay? Now, there are other things that follow the inverse square law. And an example is illumination. So that's why I have a picture of a projector in the background. Any kind of illumination, like a flashlight or a projector, varies inversely as the square of the distance from the source. And we have covered this in class with worksheet CDPP 12.1 already when we talked about illumination with a projector and also about spray paint. So refer back also to that worksheet. And in the last section, 12.6, just this is a wrap-up of universal gravitation, and it talks about perturbation. This is the deviation of an orbiting object from its path around a center of force caused by the action of an additional center of force. So what this means is that we know that the planets go around the sun. They orbit the sun. But if they're close to another planet, we will see slight deviations in their orbit caused by the other planet. And in fact, there have been planets discovered because of this action. And the one planet, the first planet to be discovered using this, was Neptune. And Neptune was independently discovered by actually 2 astronomers who noticed that Uranus's orbit is perturbed and by using the law of gravitation. So before they could see Neptune, they knew that it was there because it was causing just this slight disturbance in Uranus's orbit. And they didn't know how to explain that, so they knew that there must be something close to it. And the last thing that we need to talk about are that some scientists think that the universe we live in is oscillating. This means that they believe the universe is cyclically exploding and imploding. So it's getting larger, then it's contracting, larger than contracting. So this would coincide with the Big Bang Theory. And these scientists would say that the universe has always been. It did not have a beginning, which we go to a Christian school and we would disagree with that. Especially because at our Christian school, we think that the most biblical viewpoint is the young earth viewpoint. So we would disagree with this statement because we would say that the universe does in fact have a beginning and that God spoke the universe into being, and Before he did that, there was nothing, there was just God. So we would disagree with this, but it's important to be, or it's, you should be aware that this thought is out there. And actually, this is a very old thought. Many Greek philosophers also believed that there was no beginning to the universe and it's cyclical. So this is not necessarily a new thought. So don't forget your 5 questions, and this is it for the chapter. So start studying. You have everything you need in your note packet to study for the test, and we'll be moving on to a new chapter.